Good morning, everybody. My name's David Sullivan, and I'm the head of the Tourist Development Council. And it's July 21st, 2021, it's 9 o'clock. We're in the Government Services Building, Board Chambers in Bunnell, Florida. If you'll all rise with me, we'll do a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Good morning, everybody. My name's David Sullivan, and I'm the head of the Tourist Development Council. And it's July 21st, 2021, 9 o'clock. We're in the Government Services Building, the Flagler Board Chambers, our first responders, our personnel. If you'll all rise, all those who are assisting the flag, especially with COVID-19, which still hasn't gone away, by the way. And of course, all our good morning, everybody. My name's David Sullivan, veteran, standing watch head of the Tourist Development Council. And it's July 21st, 2021, 9 o'clock. We're in the Government Services Building, the Flagler Board Chambers, our first responders, our personnel. If you'll all rise, all those who are assisting the floor, especially with COVID-19, which still hasn't gone away. And of course, all our good morning, everybody. My name's David Sullivan, veteran, standing watch head of the Tourist Development Council. It's July 21st, 2021, 9 o'clock. We're in the Government Services Building, the Flagler Board Chambers, our following honors, our documents, all those who are assisting COVID-19, item 7, Florida, and of course, good morning, everybody. My name is David Sullivan, veteran, standing watch head of the Tourist Development Council. Lisa Robbins, manager of the July 21st, 2021, 9 o'clock. And of the Flagler Board Chambers, following honors, our documents, all those who are assisting COVID-19, item 7, Florida, and of course, good morning, everybody. My name is David Sullivan, veteran, standing watch head of the Tourist Development Council. Lisa Robbins, July 21st, 2021, 9 o'clock. And of the Flagler Board Chambers, following honors, our documents, all those who are assisting COVID-19, item 7, Florida, and good morning, everybody. My name is David Sullivan, veteran, standing watch head of the Tourist Development Council. Lisa Robbins, July 21st, 2021, 9 o'clock. And of the Flagler Board Chambers, following honors, our documents, all those who are assisting COVID-19, good morning, everybody. My name is David Sullivan, veteran, standing watch head of the Tourist Development Council. Lisa Robbins, July 21st, 2021, 9 o'clock. And of the Flagler Board Chambers, following honors, our documents, all those who are assisting COVID-19, good morning, everybody. My name is David Sullivan, veteran, standing watch head of the Tourist Development Council. Lisa Robbins, July 21st.
I can do a update on your since it's one
following honors, our documents,
package, the numbers, of course.
Good morning, everybody. My name is David Sullivan, veteran, standing watch head of the Tourist Development Council. Lisa Robbins,
I can do update on even when you back out, using your back out. Using your back out.
You can see that severe dip, but compared to this year, we've definitely made a comeback with higher collections than we've ever had. Shameless plugs here. So next week, our office is attending the Florida Tourist Development Tax Association Conference. This is an annual conference held each year. This year it's held in Daytona. I thank Amy and her team and you guys for all the little goodies that were provided to the conference. Hopefully we come back with some great information. We've got a lot of good speakers this year, so that'll be good. Last shameless plug is our office is hosting a blood drive. Last week we held it at our Palm Coast office. This week we're holding it at our Flagler Beach office. So any of you folks in Flagler Beach want to stop by, it does benefit the first responders. If you have any questions, get with me. And the next slide is me.
Is there going to be a competition between like?
There could be. Flagler Beach could win. Yeah. Flagler strong. Yeah. So this is me. I already did it last week, so I can't participate this week. But we did have a great turnout at our Palm Coast office, so that was good. And that's it. That's all I got. One last thing. Ms. Johnston wanted me to remind you guys we can shoot out quick emails, so anything you guys want to tell all these folks that have their accounts with us, we can reach out to them pretty quickly. I can't tell you who they are, but I can tell them all about you.
I just have one. I know you break it down
Right.
by municipality as far as the bed tax.
I'm sorry?
You know, I know you break it down by individual municipalities, the counties, or wherever they're located. Is that something I could get for Flagler Beach for the number to see the Airbnbs and this kind of thing that may have gone up this year? Or do you have them just by
Maybe.
county?
Maybe. So there's some
I mean,
rules.
I don't have to have it. I
Right.
just thought it would be nice to have if you
There
have it.
are some things that we can provide.
Okay.
We have to be very careful in the way we do it because of the confidentiality. So
Oh,
it
okay.
has to be 3 or more. It can't be in the same district unless it meets a certain criteria. So the short answer is yes, we could probably
Okay.
get you something.
I'm just looking to see whether or not there's been an increase and how much in the Flagler Beach area compared to maybe a year ago.
What I will tell you is this.
It's gone up.
Tourist tax is confidential. I can't talk a lot about it. Business tax is not.
Okay.
And part of our ordinance says if you have a short-term rental in Flagler County, you have to have a local business tax receipt. Those are public record,
Okay.
so you could have those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Any other questions?
Any other comment? All right. Well, Shelley, thank you very much for the
right.
update.
Thank
Well,
you.
Things are looking good. It's always nice to be smiling about income. Now, we'll go to item 6. And Amy, are you going to go through those requests? Okay. And we all, by the way, we should have all gotten the matrix to fill out, and so this should not be news to most of you then. Okay. Go ahead.
Tess? Yes, thank you. First, I wanted, before we dive into it, please bear with us the rest of the meeting because we have a lot of digital files, documents, videos, PowerPoints, so it may take us a moment sometimes to toggle back and forth. But I did want to, before we jump into the scoring and the distribution of funding, I wanted to just highlight a few of the items that we need to remember, and also for public knowledge for the guidelines. So the intention of this grant is to provide funding assistance to organizations for marketing of special events that promote Flagler County as a tourist destination. Funds received pursuant to the special event marketing grant must be used for expenditures associated with marketing and promoting the event to visitors and guests outside of Flagler County, with the goal of increasing overall economic impact and/or overnight stays in Flagler County. So that is the purpose of this grant. This is why we revised the grant. We were challenging our organizations, hey, we want you to if you're going to use tourism dollars, then you need to market to do so. And we stepped up and said, and to do that, we will reimburse you for those costs. And so that's essentially what this is. Any advertising that they do outside the county is reimbursable, 100%. As a reminder, the maximum that an organization can apply for is 25% of their projected total budget. And again, awarded funds may only be used for advertising, marketing, and promotion outside of Flagler County. This is to ensure that the funds will be used to attract participants who reside outside of Flagler County. No media, marketing, or advertising within Flagler County will be reimbursed. So as a reminder, this is what they're able to use the funds for. Any type of marketing and advertising. We also reimburse for any signage, banners or billboards, posters, flyers, brochure. We also will reimburse them if they had any cost for the graphic design and production, and also for any postage. If they had an email list or something they were mailing their attendees, we would pay for that. So this is all with the intent is to increase the participants, the visitors to their events to be outside of Flagler County. And as a reminder, funding is reimbursement. So if they were approved for $5,000, but especially these days, it's really hard for these folks to, especially if their event is further out next year, to project and predict what's going to be happening. So we are sensitive to that. So if they do decide not to use all those funds that they were awarded and approved for, at the end of the day, what they come back for reimbursement. So if they're approved for $5,000, that means they can spend up to $5,000. But if they come back and say, I only ended up spending $4,000, no problem, you get reimbursed for $4,000. Any questions about the guidelines so far?
No, that is, that is a change, and we, probably any of us in elected position or running places know that sometimes it gets to be kind of a difficult item for locals who say, well, I want that money for my event, but if they're not doing anything as indicated here, then it's going to be difficult to make those, provide those funds.
Right.
So I think it's pretty clear in our guidance now that it's been revised.
Yes,
and,
these events should not rely on tourism money to occur. They should be they should be able to fund themselves and to happen regardless. Our role is to give them funding support so that they can increase how many people come outside the county. And then this is just a reminder, event must show marketing efforts by promoting the event to tourists as defined in section 125 of the Florida statutes. Tourist means a person who participates in trade or recreations outside the county or who rents or leases transient accommodations. So this is where we're at today. This is the process and review. So we've done items A through N, so now we're at O. which is the TDC receives the final scores, and at the applicable TDC meeting, that's today, the TDC will vote on each qualifying applicant and prioritize a list of its recommendations for funding. The TDC may decide to fully fund the top scoring applications or may choose to partially fund any or all of the applications. So the applicants submitted what they are requesting, and you are able to approve the full amount, make any variations that you see fit. I will tell you that we have earmarked $80,000 next fiscal year, and of course, all of this is contingent on BOCC approval of the budget and of the items. So if, just for a conversation, if we were to fully fund all of these events, then we would have a balance of $56,000, a little over $56,000. So what we're able to do is the next TDC meeting, we're still going to be able to accept applications. And so you will still have a balance to be able to support any newcoming events.
Okay.
In 1 second, I'll pull up the... So this is where we landed with the scoring. And as you could see, it was our first time doing it. A lot of things were just, a lot of the scoring sections were very black and white, and some of them were more subjective. So it was a balance between them all. 100 points is the highest, and you had to have at least anything over 40 points is a good event. So if it was less than 40 points, it didn't come before you, and we didn't have any of those. So we met with some of these one-on-one that requested it to give them assistance with their grants. So just know that anything over 40 points is a good application. So with that, we can start with the first applicant, and they can, if they have a presentation or want to speak before the board, ask any questions, that would be the Flagler Auditorium.
Right. Anybody who comes forward, please identify yourself and location. We get it in the record. Aye.
I want to hand you this real quick.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm Amelia Fulmer, the director of the Flagler Auditorium, and it's wonderful to be here in person. I first want to thank all of you for your service, for the TDC Council, and all the things you do. I've been watching you from afar on the computer for over a year, even gone back to some meetings, and you guys really have a lot of resilience, and it's been a tough year. And I want to thank Amy Lukasik, Candy Breckenridge, Deborah Naughton, and Christina Hutzel for all the work that they do. Our last show, 7% of the tickets came from, our analytics showed, it came from their office. So I've just been very impressed with all the data that they've given us for the audiences and the things that we need to find. I'm giving you this calendar of events so you can kind of get a view into what all happens at the auditorium. There are many events besides the professional events that happen there. And I do believe that some of those events are going to bring people into our community if we market and work with our partners to do that. The auditorium has about 3 audiences. I consider the first audience is our target audience, the people that actually come to the shows and love to come to shows. And then our second audience are the parents and the children that go there, and the people that have the shared values of arts education and having a place like that. There are many people that may not attend shows, but they're indeed our audience because they contribute to the life of the auditorium and make sure that we still have a place like that for our children to perform. And our third audience are the people that need to market to those audiences in this community. The businesses, the hotels, the restaurants, all of those people, our patrons need them. And it's part of our responsibility to treat them as an audience ourselves. So we are doing 20 national touring shows this year. We have 5 community shows coming up. We have the Tiger Bay Club is going to do a national speaker from National Security for the 20th anniversary of September 11th. Flagler Beach Surf Riders is doing a surf festival this year. And we also have Motown and Mo, which is a wonderful, fun community show, and they're going to do a Christmas show for us. So those are in addition to our national shows. We have some new partnerships with Palm Coast Arts District. We've been working with them and Jacksonville University and their College of Fine Arts, and they're going to bring a dance show in January, and they're also going to work with our students, our top dance students, and probably serves them to do a little recruitment, but it also gives us some great master classes. And if you've never seen Jacksonville University dance, you should check them out. They're world-renowned. And that'll bring some folks from Jacksonville. We've actually talked to them about staying in hotels and making it a tour to make the Jacksonville dancers feel like what it feels like to be in a tour. So that will assure us some hotel stays. We also are co-sponsoring a summer show with City Repertory Theater this year. Next summer, we're going to do Schoolhouse Rock and try to bring all of the summer camps from the north and south and bring everybody here for a nice, cool day in the auditorium to see a show. It'll be a ticketed show for children and families, but it'll also be one that we serve our summer camps with. We recently received $25,000 from the Division of Cultural Affairs again for the grant. We were very happy that they funded our grant again this year. And we also received a grant from Visit Florida to receive targeted marketing assistance. There were a few questions about the hotels, and I wanted to kind of address that because I do see that as a very relevant question. The first year I came, we went to all the hotels and we brought in a letter with 400 hotel rooms. The second year, during the pandemic, right after the lockdown, I was only able to secure 250 hotel stays. And I think a lot of that problem is because we do not have a way, a procedure, or protocol of following those rooms other than the performers. We always have documentation for that. But I think it behooves us to work more with the hotels, closer with the hotels, to try to market, have some incentive to stay and play. I'm dressed patriotically today because our big opener was going to be the President's Own Marine Band. We're going to give away 1,000 free tickets to that. So why not? It's in the middle of the afternoon. So why not? Let's all work together as partners and figure out some incentives to get them to come make a weekend. Maybe they get a front row seat if they stay in one of the hotels. So I really want to work this year very hard to work on that third audience, which is all of the businesses and all of the hotels and all of the people that make this community great. I want you to say, when someone asks you, what would you like to do this weekend? You should go see what show is at the Flagler Auditorium, in the same way that we might say to John about Oceanside that you got to go there and try the fried cheese. We want to be just that popular. So any questions you have for me?
Yeah, the President's Own, this is actually the President's Own Marine Band. I hope everybody, that's the one that's up in Washington, is there for all the big events. So it's really a pretty special presentation.
Very exciting. That's going to be Sunday, October 10th.
That's Columbus weekend, right?
Yes.
That's the same as the Corvette Club's time. I just learned today, so I just wanted, in case others who do events did not know, that you actually don't barter for the hotel rooms with your talent that comes in. You actually pay for the hotel rooms,
Yes,
which is really not how it usually works. Usually when you're bringing in they ask you for so many rooms, and then you have to go beg somebody to donate those rooms. So I just wanted to commend you that I just learned that today, that you actually pay for those rooms rather than bartering them. So I consider that a count. So thank you, Craig, for making me knowledgeable.
Yes.
And I mean, my thought would be just to give some sizing on this. Your budget for the whole year for doing all these shows and everything is pretty big. So you give us some idea what you're talking about there for total?
For this year, actually, our budget is a little less because we planned a few less shows than we normally do. So it's around $300,000 this year. It's for artist fees, it's close to $250,000. And then $400,000 in total expenses when you put everything together, and our marketing budget is quite large. But the incentive from the TDC to be able to go outside of our county is a wonderful thing, and we hope to be very responsible and use those funds to work with everyone in the community to try to do great things. We want to be a tourist destination, but we also want the whole county to be included in that.
With that, I have another question about the seating for the national shows. Are those like membership tickets? Do you have an allotment of tickets that are sold to the county people as you can come to every show, or are they always open market?
We've always had the shows were on sale one show at a time,
Okay.
and you can buy as many as you want in the beginning of the season. This year, we're going to try a subscription series where you can buy one price and buy 2 tickets to every show. We're doing some new things with Advent Health to present more of the community on stage so that we bring more community members and honor them. So there's going to be lots of different ways to come, but mainly checking our website, signing up for our newsletter. But we do have memberships, spotlight memberships, like VIP memberships that we are adding on. But we're now going to be trying a subscription series as well.
Okay, so that, to me, that says you do not have 400 people that have already bought for the season and they're going to be coming to every show and this is their particular seat.
No, for the last 10 years, we've had like a VIP membership where you could secure your seat by your membership that you pay extra. And we'll still have that model. But for this year, we're trying to change it to we have a season. So we can have a season pass holder, or usually in the arts, they call it a subscription
Right.
rather than a season pass.
Okay, so in the past with those VIPs, do you know about what that number is of seats that are just already taken before you can market them?
I would say, gosh, probably less than 50 seats.
Oh, okay. Just wondered.
Yeah,
And-
because
and-
there's so much.
I had one more question. I went to the last show. We're still restricted on the number of seats that you can put in for a show. Are you saying as of the new season, we're fully booked, or where are we on number of seats that you can fill per
I have been
show?
instructed by the President's own Marine Band, we met on Monday to give 1,000 seats away. A little more than 1,000 seats, actually. So, of course, we'll keep our eye on things, but as it is right now, we are planning to go back to full house. And it's free tickets, and it's going to be a great concert.
Hey, I mean, what's that capacity?
1,100.
1,100, so you go up to the, and on the, you still do the weekly emails I saw in there? That's awesome. Do you know what days you send those out
We
on?
actually send the newsletter based on what's coming up,
Okay,
rather than a weekly newsletter. They become more frequent when we have more shows.
gotcha.
But we also like to celebrate all the things that we do for arts and education with those newsletters too. Last year, we gave almost $20,000, even during the pandemic, to our students and scholarships, and also to help students go to band camps and summer camps. And so I like to say to people, when you buy a ticket to the show, you create a brighter future for our
Yeah,
students.
amen. And you still use an outside marketing firm at all?
We do some outsourcing.
Okay,
We look to do a bit more of that this year.
perfect.
All right. So, no further comment from the board. I think it's time, we'll have to do a motion on each one of these, right, Amy? So if you look at your agenda, it's item 6A that we're speaking of right now. So at this point, I'd open it up for a motion to approve or not the $10,000 Flagler Auditorium Board, Flagler Auditorium Season 21-22 grant. So,
I'd make a motion.
Mr. Commissioner, I need to recuse myself from voting as we're a host hotel for the Flagler Auditorium.
okay, any other, so we have one excused. Then we have a second on the motion.
I'll second it. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. I'll open it up to the public for any additional comments concerning this particular item, 6A. Seeing no one come forward, bring it back to the board. All those in favor of funding the Flagler Auditorium Board at $10,000 for 21-22 season signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Thank you, Amelia.
Thank you, and we'll see
Good
you
luck
at
for
the
your
show.
season.
Thank you.
All right, the second item that we'll go to now is 6B, which is a $10,000 possible grant for the African American Cultural Center, Smithsonian Museum Waterways and Exhibition. Do we have someone here who can give us an update on that? Please come forward and identify yourself for the secretary.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Matthews. I am a member of the Board of Directors for the African American Cultural Society, which operates the African American Cultural Center. We are very happy and proud that we were one of 10 selected to host the Smithsonian Museum Waterways exhibit next year. I wasn't prepared that I was going to have to speak.
Right, well, we all got some background on this, but I am interested in kind of a little bit of the concept and where you're going with this, because I think it's a new one, right, Amy? And this is something that's not been done before.
That's
here.
right. It has not been done. It's the first time the Smithsonian will be having an exhibit in Flagler County. We plan to expand the exhibit by having different speakers and entertainment, having, well, we have already asked the school board, all of the elementary schools are going to be coming to view the exhibit. We hope to expand it with these marketing dollars to other counties. We want to, we have over 350 members. A lot of our members live out of state, up in New York, Maryland, New Jersey, Iowa, because that's where I'm from. You know, we just, we want to make this event available to everyone, particularly in Central Florida. We're going to reach out to Georgia and other places. And I'd like to make a shameless, we will be celebrating our 30th anniversary on October the 24th. And we are going to have a celebration at our center. Our guest speaker is going to be Congresswoman Barbara Lee from California, who is Shirley Chisholm's protege, and we hope that you will all come.
Right, just back,
Yes,
quick
to
question.
the waterways.
On the waterways, so there'll be, what will we see there? It'll be at your facility?
It's going to
and
be
it'll
at
there
at our facility. The Smithsonian is shipping the exhibit to our facility, and it will be up for, I believe it's 8 weeks.
I have a question. And are you you said out of 10, you were one of 10 that was chosen, so is this the only exhibit that we'll be able to see in Florida?
No, there are 10 in Florida,
Oh, 10 in Florida. Okay,
Yes.
was my question.
but we're the only one in,
Like North Florida? or-
yes.
Okay.
Just, when I read the backup, I understand it's a new event, and you really don't know for sure how this is gonna, go, really, I mean, because it hasn't been done before. So I do think this is a lot of that you're gonna have to be heavily involved to get this to work, getting the word out and getting advertising and all that. So,
Well, I'll tell you, our entire board, our executive board and our board of directors is committed to this. The Smithsonian, if this is successful, they will bring other exhibits to our center. So we are very invested in making this successful.
Okay, and the $10,000 is, how do you come to a number, because it's never really been done before, and so that was only my concern. I'm glad we're going to do this and all that, but Amy, you looked at this too, and you might have a couple of comments on this, since it's the first event and really different than that's been done before.
Yes, in just marketing alone, they already their proposed budget is already over $10,000 in marketing alone. So it's probably closer to 20.
And we'll have a lot of in-kind expenses also that,
Sure. Thank you. So, any comments from the board?
Yeah, on the hours of operation, is it going to be open at specific times? You have to schedule a tour, or, for example, if I wanted to go out there and look at the exhibit, could I just go at any time, or do you have particular hours and all that you can have operational?
we will, currently our hours of operation are from 10 to 2, but when we have the exhibit, we are going to expand our hours. I'm not quite certain at the moment what they are, but I know that we will have them, we'll have them so that people will be able to come during the school day, after the school day, and on the weekends.
Okay, that's why I was curious, because since it is the first event, I'm sure you plan to have it open maximum number of hours as you can in order to maximize your participation, in order to get the exhibit out there and let people know about it. So that's the only question I had.
Yeah, I would just say I'm excited. I did a little Googling about different Smithsonian traveling exhibits, and it seems like this is going to be pretty awesome, and I'm looking forward to attending.
Thank you.
Any other additional comments?
Stephanie, you had, on the sheet, it showed like 20,000 in food that you kind of estimating to sell during that time.
Yes.
What are y'all going to be offering during that? Is it going to be like y'all doing the meals for them, or is it just snacks?
No, we're probably going to have dinner during one of the events during the week. I mean, during the 8 weeks, probably when we have a guest speaker there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Anything else? I have one last question. I'm trying to remember, because I did this 3 weeks ago or so on the analysis. How are you handling the subject of number of bed nights, for tax purposes at the hotels and stuff? Because you've never done this before. Do you expect, or are you estimating that, in this case with the hotels, as far as use of the hotels for people coming to see this?
Can I?
But as you said, we haven't done this before, so we don't have an estimate of how many beds, we might need, but
Can I
Yeah.
chime in? They will all applicants are asked to track their counts, their visitor counts. So we will get that data from them. So the applicant can choose either to verify room nights or turn in visitor count surveys.
Okay, good.
and we do have a guest book at the center that we ask people to sign when they come in.
Yeah.
And we will have the additional,
Yeah, I just think since we're involved with this, the record keeping is important.
Oh, yes.
It's for the follow-up, when you actually get the
I'm an
money back.
accountant by trade, so.
All right, any additional comments? Then I bring it back, go ahead.
One more question. So the
Yes.
dates are actually this July the 9th through September the 3rd? They're the actual dates
Yes.
of the, okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Lisa. All right, I bring it
Be
back to the
having
board.
other events also.
Bring it back to the board for a motion.
I'll move to approve the full $10,000 request for the African American Cultural Society Smithsonian Waterways exhibit.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll open it up to the public again. Any additional comments? Anybody who's here? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a vote on the motion. The motion is for item 6B, $10,000 African American Cultural Center, Smithsonian Museum Waterways Exhibition, July 9th through September 3rd, 2022. So it's a way off, but all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. So congratulations and good luck on your event. You got some time to get it pulled together.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, we hope to see you all there.
All right, Stephen, thank you. All right, we'll go on to item 6C, which is $2,100 for the Flagler Beach Historical Museum. Cheer at the Pier event, April 12th, 2022.
Hi, my name is Kathy Wilcox. I'm the director of the Flagler Beach Historical Museum. First, and for the record, I want to say that the event is actually Saturday, April 9th, not the 12th.
Oh, well, that's good you point that out.
Yeah. Our last event for Cheer at the Pier was actually in 2019. We did not have it in 2020 or this year, obviously due to COVID. So this event is our major fundraising event, so it's very, very important to us. I became the director in 2018, and prior to that, the event was very locally focused. Our local Flagler Beach restaurants and our Flagler County residents. Obviously, we haven't had it in 2 years, so that's given us a chance to expand our horizons and focus on bringing in out-of-town guests, whether they're weekenders or day trippers. So that is, again, why we are applying for this grant. So we're going to be asking not only our local Flagler Beach restaurants, but we're going to expand that into our Flagler County restaurants if they would like to participate. If you're not familiar with the event, restaurants are asked to come to the pier and set up and serve drink and food samplings. We shut down the whole pier, which will be coming to the city of Flagler Beach for that confirmation, but the paperwork is in. But we shut down the pier just for us. We sell tickets, and again, about 600-700 people come and are able to taste the food and drink from our local restaurants to encourage them to come back and have full meals. We are also going to be expanding that to promoting our local history and arts and cultural establishments. Over the past couple of years while we were closed, we have formed a history roundtable with the Flagler County Historical Society, the Palm Coast Historical Society, the African American Cultural Society. Everything historical in Flagler County, we have come under an umbrella. So when we bring these people to town for Cheer at the Pier, we're going to be promoting our history and our arts and our cultural. So are there any questions?
So I guess the key here will be your ability to advertise, to bring in people from outside the county to
That's
this
correct.
event.
Yes.
Because, I mean, that's critical now with our guidance, as Amy went through earlier.
Right.
So is there have you already started that? Well, it's a little early to be starting.
Yeah,
it,
it's a
but-
little early
yeah.
right now. Right now, we're focusing on our fall fundraiser, in case you're interested in that. Yeah, so
okay.
we will be, when we sat down with Amy and the group, we talked about where we need to focus and how we're going to do that. So, yeah, we will be definitely targeting the out-of-county and Central Florida, communities.
This would be a horrible situation, but I guess if a hurricane hits and the pier gets closed again, it's off. But
Yeah.
there's not a rainy day hurricane plan to take care of this. Okay, I just
Yeah.
I actually said that tongue in cheek. Sorry, but
Don't jinx
you're
it.
kind of dependent on the pier.
Yes, it does.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, not bad.
I also just wanted to say that the museum is the official visitor center for Flagler County. We have a lot of the displays for Visit Flagler and Palm Coast and the Flagler Beaches. So people are directed to our location when they're wanting tourist information. So we appreciate the support that we get from the TDC. And because of that, we are able to stay open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is great. And just a little side note, Amy was talking about the numbers going off the board and the locations that people are coming from. We've seen it in the museum. We are getting people here in Flagler County and in Flagler Beach from areas that we've never seen before. And it's really amazing to see that happen.
And so that is, Amy, that's one of the things they do. They keep a log on that so that we have an idea of where they're coming
Yep,
from, that kind of
we
thing.
do.
Okay.
One question kind of stems off of the comment that Mr. Sullivan made. As far as having all this additional weight on the pier and everything, that the structural integrity is not an issue. You guys don't have to worry about head counts out on the pier. Ken may know better than I. I'm not really too familiar with the logistics.
Yeah, no, when we go before the city of Flagler Beach, there is a maximum number of people we can have.
Okay.
And they're not out there all at the same time. They are coming and going. It's a 3-hour event.
Gotcha.
So they are coming and going, and the city commission and the city manager does look at that to make sure that we don't exceed that
Cool. Thank you.
weight.
What time of day is your event? Is it like
It's from 2 to 5.
2 to 5? And that's a pretty good time of year to have it because that's still kind of spring break time and, you know, there's a lot of out-of-town visitors and so-
Right, and it's after bike week, it's after spring break. Our restaurants have a chance to calm down from those events and then focus on our locals and our surrounding areas. So yeah, the weather, the past events have been amazing. Yeah, knock on wood.
Any other comments on this request? Okay, bring it back to board for a motion on item 6C.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to bring it back to the public.
Chair, I need to recuse myself because we participate in that event.
All right. Will you note that, Mr. John Logeret? All right. Okay, seeing no public additional comments, back to the board for approval of item 6C, $2,100 for the Flagler Beach Historical Museum Cheer at the Pier with a date of April 9th, 2022. All those in favor signify by saying aye. One exception. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously with the one exception. John Lucia, aye. All right, thank you very much, Kathy, and look forward to that event. Now, in this section, item 6D, which is the $1,200 for the Flagler County Corvette Club Corvettes at Central Park, October 9th to 11th. Do we have someone like to brief that for us? Hey.
Vroom, vroom.
Good morning, it's Steve Wolf again. I was president for the past 4 years of the Flagler County Corvette Club, and this will also be my fourth time as chairman of the show. As you know, this show has moved to Palm Coast because the beach could not accommodate us due to their decision about COVID restrictions. So we've encountered a lot of new logistics and expenses. Our cost has gone up significantly because of the new venue. We're excited about it though because it's larger and it has the potential to hold more Corvettes, and we've been actually warned by our promoter to expect many more Corvettes because that's what he's seeing throughout the state. Whereas we would have a high of 135, I think, 2 years ago, we may be looking at up to 200 or more Corvettes this time. Of course, it's very weather dependent, and a lot of people make that call the last minute. So but registrations are looking good right now, and we're charging basically the same that we always have. It's $35 registration. And that includes a t-shirt that we produce. So we wind up with a very, very small margin after all those expenses. A word about the Corvette itself. I think it brings prestige to any locale. When you see Corvettes out on the road, you can kind of extrapolate that to a bit of affluence in the community. Although the cost is nothing like a Ferrari, it is a car that only affords you 2 people. So it means people have a budget for a purely enjoyable car. And of course, they're exciting to look at. They perform well, but I think Flagler County's demographics put those Corvettes mainly in the hands of seniors who are pretty cautious and conservative about how they drive. So I think we represent our county well by not wrapping them around telephone poles or getting tickets and leaving marks on the road.
They're Corvettes, not Mustangs.
Well, I'm not here to speak about the metal cars.
They're in a different category altogether.
Absolutely. The Corvettes are in a kind of a place of their own, and just a word about their significance is increasing, actually, because the engineering has been taking great strides in each new model. This one especially has now begun to dominate its class in the professional racing circuit, International Motorsports Association. So the people are really lined up for this new model, and the production is having a tough time keeping up. They're still going to produce 26,000. That's kind of low for any car, but it is a real niche car. And we're a niche club, a rather small club as the rest of the counties in Florida may go, or at least the larger counties. We have a smaller population, so we have fewer Corvettes. The club is a little smaller. Our punching ability is a little bit lower, and yet we've been able to provide a show over the years that has really wowed people, especially because it was right there next to the water. Having the Atlantic, all that power next to those beautiful cars, people were raving about it. They loved the small town. They loved being able to walk across the street and have something to eat. Of course, our accommodations were always tip-top. And our welcome party it's kind of a fading tradition in these Corvette shows, but we're keeping that up at the level we've always had. So we're kind of punching above our weight class at this point, trying to keep it going. And now with these no expenses and our aging club, the future it's a little cloudy. I know I won't be chairman again next year.
Right.
I think 7 years of service in the club, I need to be able to step aside and see what it's like to just be a member again. So hopefully this is the last time you have me in front of the microphone. And I appreciate all that you've done for support of this club in the past.
Hey, Steve, I got a question. Commissioner, you got some good history with them on there. Do y'all keep records of the folks that have come in the past so you can reach out to them and?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like get
Yep.
them up again?
Deep
Okay.
emailing lists.
Yes, sir. Okay, perfect.
Any other,
Steve, how many members are we up to now?
100 in this club.
and you're the sponsoring hotel. And the request is not too high because of the rules right now. It has to be outside advertising and that kind of thing. So, and I know with going to the city, Central Park, does increase your expenses. And I've talked to Steve about this, and we're aware of that. So it's not a giant request, but it's a good show, and it's always done pretty well, whether it was at Flagler Beach or we're hoping. I mean, it's going to be a great venue. I personally think around the lake there, and weather is always a question, but there's not a lot we can do about that. So, any further comments?
No,
Ken?
I think I participated in the show since I first moved to Florida, I believe. And even though I'll participate in the show, I don't have to recuse myself because I'm not a member of the club, even though he's been trying to recruit me for 10 years. But yeah, it's a great venue, and we were very sorry that we couldn't accommodate the Corvette Club in Flagler Beach this year, but we had to go by the guidelines that we had. So we're looking forward to hopefully having the show next year. And I've been talking to the city manager as to how we can possibly expand it. I'm not sure how we can do it because I know that there are a lot more cars, and they are a unique vehicle. It's not just because I own one; they're great. And I think one of our county commissioner owns ones as well. But thanks to Steve, we look forward to the venue, and I'll certainly be participating this year as well as far as just coming out and
Appreciate
looking
it.
at the new cars.
And if I may, I'd just like to welcome you and the intern to Palm Coast, and anything that we can do to facilitate a phenomenal event, just let us know, and we're looking forward as well.
We'll be in touch.
One comment I got, Steve, there was a exotic car club. I'm trying to remember, there was a like food for kids or some kind of drive, and they had all types. There was like 100 exotic cars that are coming to our location, And I'm gonna reach out to the host of that event, see if they have any Corvette owners, so in that way we can help drive some of that Orlando market. It was unbelievable. The kids were going crazy for all these amazing cars that came through, so
We'd appreciate that.
out to some of these other exotic car clubs, I'm sure.
Hey, Steve,
I'll send you a flyer.
what are you going to do on, as far as restaurants go, with you being in town? You going to do like the food trucks or?
We're having food trucks.
Okay.
Is there a certain list, or actually my executive chef just opened, or my former executive chef just got his own food truck, and I'm trying to help him out too a little bit, so is there a way?
Well, I've delegated that. I don't have the list. In fact, we just got our signed contracts and deposits for that yesterday. And I didn't bring the information with me, who they are.
I'll get your information before we go on forward.
The city also has Food Truck Tuesday, so if there's a way that you want the information from Food Truck Tuesday, facilitate that both ways.
Anything
Good,
else?
Commissioner.
And that the city does, what he said, the city has food truck Tuesday. We were just there. I walk my dog in Central Park every day. I think that, I know you sound sad because it's not at the beach. I think the event will be the same and if not bigger, just from participating in it or being around it for the last couple of years myself. The park does give you more space, but people are still gonna go to the beach and eat. They're gonna still do what they do.
We're going to take full advantage of the new
but they love the
venue,
food trucks,
but
too.
there's a lot of logistics. The ground is not entirely Corvette friendly. So we have to map it out carefully. We're working hard on that.
So you think at some point the mid-engine Corvette guys will separate from the old front-engine people?
Not at all. No, tradition is a big
Okay.
deal with Corvettes.
Corvette's Corvette.
All right, all right. Any additional comments? Okay, open up for a motion on item 6.
Commissioner, I need to recuse myself from voting as the Hilton Garden Inn is the host hotel for this event.
And
I as well, because we do the overflow.
well, how many are we going to recuse here? Okay, two out. All right, so, all right, so do we have a second?
Second.
Oh,
Did we have an initial motion?
oh, I thought somebody, oh, that's right, you said you're recusing. I need a motion.
I'll second.
All right,
All right, there we
all
go.
right, all right. Sorry. So we, and any additional public comment concerning this? And Steve, thank you for being here. All right, bring it back to the board for approval of item 6D, $1,200 for the Flagler County Corvette Club, Corvettes in Central Park, October 9th through 11th. And that's 2021, not 2021 coming up. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. It's approved for that level. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We now go to Fund, Item 7, Fund 110, Discretionary Event Funding Request. And Amy, give me a little bit of background on this. I think, I'm trying to remember if these, we had already discussed these previously, maybe not. Go ahead.
So the discretionary funding is basically a sales tool for the staff. So the grants that you just heard were more for local organizations that come before you. This fund is more for staff when we go to recruit events or organizations to come. It's also used as an assistance for like the resort, which will be the case in one of these grants. So if they're having troubles closing a deal, they can ring us up and say, hey, could you help sponsor one of the meals, of a breakfast or something, or transportation, then we vet it and bring it forward to you. So this fiscal year, we allocated $80,000, and after these two events, we'll still have a balance of $11,600. So there's no more time to bring any more of these events. So $11,600 we didn't spend this year, so it'll roll over back into the bucket. So the first one up is Veterans Day Lacrosse through Florida United. There's about 80 teams they're projecting, they told us. Each team has 22 players. They work with a housing organization, so it is able to track rooms, and I know a couple of our board members already will have to recuse themselves. This is another big event, and we have, once this is approved, we will have maxed out the 33% So for those of you that don't know, so however amount of funds are approved for this fund, which is 80,000, we are only allowed to distribute 33% to each particular market segment. So only 33% max can go to lacrosse, 33% soccer, 33% golf, 33% meetings. That way, it's evenly more distributed, and not one particular segment is getting it, all the funds.
Is this is the term, this is at Indian Trails, or is it?
Yes, this will be at Indian Trails,
Right, okay.
80. Yep. So,
Go ahead, Amy. Yeah.
yep, so in the past, this tournament was owned by Triple Crown, and Florida United purchased the majority of all the events, the lacrosse events that we see here, but it's pretty much the same model.
Okay, so back to our board to discuss this particular item, 7A, the Florida United Lacrosse Veterans Day Tournament.
I need to recuse myself as we have a room block set up.
Commissioner, myself also.
I third that.
Okay, so hotel owners are out.
Yeah,
That's a good sign.
For this one.
Not
No,
owners.
no, I know, well, but the hotels. True. So, with any other discussion on the part of the board before we ask for a motion? All right. So, bring it back to board for a motion on item 7A.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any public comments concerning this from people who are present? Seeing none, bring it back to the board to approve a motion for $10,000 for the Florida United Lacrosse Veterans Day, November 13th through 14, 2021. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So the five of us say aye. Three people have to disqualify themselves. All right, that's, any opposed? Hearing none. Motion approves unanimously by those who could vote. And so we go on to item 7B, which is the Technology Publishing Incorporated Contractor Connect Conference, November 1st through 5th, 2021.
Yes, thank you. So this organization, they actually have been here before at the Hammock Beach Resort in 2018. And they had a great experience. 2019, I think they were in, Tucson, Arizona. But the resort was able to lure them back enough to where they are actually holding two conferences, one in October, one in November. We're looking just to fund the November conference for $6,400. This will help relieve some of the transportation costs. Most of them are flying in. This is a conference for contractors. The October event, even though that's not part of this request, just to give you some background, they've already have 320 rooms blocked. And that's also includes 40,000 just on food and beverage at the resort. So the November event is 329 room nights. So that's pretty hefty amount of numbers. And then 50,000 on food and beverage. So 6,400 will then cap out this market segment in our discretionary funding, and they think, between 100 and 120 attendees plus family. So I didn't know if Mr. Baker wanted to provide any more information, but
We've, and I'm going to have to excuse myself from voting on this. Christine already has the forms, but Amy's right. They've been with us for a little bit over 5 years. Great firm, and when we were bidding on this, Commissioner, the biggest thing we hit with a lot of times with other resorts is distance from the airport. And so we butt heads with a lot of great resorts, but we try to explain to them, hey, you're going to a destination. So we'll try to sell it that way. So that was our biggest thing. So one thing that was keeping them from booking it was the transportation cost on there. So that's when we referred him to Amy on there, so he filled out that proper paperwork. But it would be a huge win for the resort with that one on there.
Great.
Yeah.
Any additional comments from the board on this one? If not, ask for a motion for item 7B, $6,400, Technology Publishing Incorporated Contractor Connect Conference, November 1st through 5th, 2021. Do I have a motion? All right.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We have one person who will not be able to vote. And any public comment in addition? I don't see anybody coming forward. So bring back to board. All those in favor of item 7B, $6,400, Technology Publishing Incorporated, contract to Connect Conference, November 1st through 5th, 2021, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we have unanimous with one abstention. All right.
Hey, Commissioner, one last thing on technology. They've already booked for 2 programs for next year, already also with us.
Great.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Super. I just wanted to mention how this works then is all these approvals we've done today will go forward to the Board of County Commissioners, which I am a member of, so that's one of the reasons that I'm in this position here. And I think those are all worthwhile events, and I'll make sure, as hard as I can, to make sure they all get approved as we have approved them. So with that, Amy, back to another important item, and the 3 aspects of the tourist funds, the 109, 110, and 111 budgets, and you're going to, is that, okay, you're going to do that presentation. And it's important, because we're fast approaching finalizing the budget in the county.
Yes, and much better position than we were this time last year, where we're just saying, oh, we've had to cut pretty much every line item, so it's nice to come before you with percentage increases. So just to give you an overview of the entire budget, this first slide, so we're projecting anywhere between 2.7 and that 3 million. We were still remaining conservative, so on the actual budget sheets, it's 2.7 million in projected revenues, but our office, we are aiming for that 3 million. So that's anywhere between a 14 to 21% increase from this year. So this is a reminder of how those funds then are distributed. So there's 1 penny that goes to Fund 109, which is capital projects. So that's 550,000. So if we collect 2.7 million, to 550,000 will go into that fund, and also into Fund 111, which is the beach improvement fund. And then Fund 110, which is advertising and promotions, would collect 1.6 million. And of course, as always, if for some reason, natural disaster, we don't look, if it doesn't look like we'll get to 2.7, we'll do exactly what we did when COVID hit. We'll start addressing each line item where to cut. This fiscal year, we projected 2 million, and of course that was because of this time last year. But right now, year to date, we're at 2.2 million in revenues.
Amy, on the various ways we do it between the 3 funds, I think everybody on the board is aware of that, right? There are the three parts, so it's not all being able to go to one place or another. We have the capital funds, and there is some leftover money in those funds right now. And the big thing we did recently was there was a fairly large bond, I guess, on the beach renourishment, the original beach renourishment for the 12 miles north, and that's been taken care of. You might just explain that again.
Yep.
Okay,
The
that's
next
okay.
slide.
All right, sorry. I'm not looking, I'm sorry.
At least we're on the same page. So that slide was the overview, and now I'll have a slide for each one of the funds and just highlight some important things to keep in mind. So Fund 109 is capital projects, and these are capital projects that are for tourism. And the application cycle is open every 2 years, so it is open right now. And the application deadline is next year, June 10th, 2022. So this allows the eligible applicants to start getting everything together for us. The total amount that will be available is $739,158. It is a 50-50 match, and the eligibility is local government organizations or a not-for-profit that is open to the public. So right now that fund is just sitting there. We have a couple of outstanding projects. So we have that are being carried over. So the city of Flagler Beach, they applied a couple years ago for work on the pier, and they were awarded $150,000. They have spent about 90-something thousand, so they have a balance of $59,000 for phase 2 of work on the pier. The town of Marineland, they applied a couple years ago, and their funding will roll over of $150,000. And I think the next TDC meeting, I'm going to have a representative from the town of Marineland come and give us an update of where they're at with that. One of the phases for the marina. I think it's like 3. And then the Florida Agricultural Museum, they are allocated $150,000 when they're ready to apply. That was through a resolution a couple years ago that included the Flagler Auditorium and the Palm Coast Arts Foundation, where they were awarded a one-time grant. So that's there for them whenever they're ready to apply. So that's kind of the gist of capital projects, Fund 109. So I didn't know if you wanted to approve each fund.
You had one question.
Just a quick question, I'm sorry. So that 150 for agriculture and 150 marineland, is that part of the 739?
No.
No, okay,
No,
good.
no.
Thank you.
That's just carrying over. Those are just, I wanted to update you on outstanding
Gotcha.
projects that have been approved and where they're at.
Thank you.
So did you want to me to go through all 3 of them and then approve them
Probably
individually?
ought to approve them one each because they're different in what they
Correct.
do. So bring it back to board. There was some discussion, any additional discussion on the Fund 109? Anything else? Open it up for a motion to approve the budget 109 for fiscal year 21-22.
So moved.
Can we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any additional public comment? Seeing none, bring it back to the board for approval of the motion to approve item 8A, which is the FY 21-22 109 budget. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed, and therefore it passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, 110.
All right, 110, which is promotions and advertising, which is the majority of our activity. So I just highlighted kind of what's new or what we'll see for coming up fiscal year. So last week we hired a new marketing manager. She will be joining us in August. So the October TDC meeting will be her first. She comes to us from the New Smyrna Beach Visitors Bureau, so we're very excited to have someone with that government experience and tourism office experience. So her name's Courtney, so we're excited to bring her on board and to have help. The other thing we're adding this year is our continued commitment to the city of Flagler Beach for the Starry Nights. We feel that is a good event because it is during the off season, and it's December and January. So we have committed to basically sponsor lighting up the pier. So we're going to continue with that. So we dedicated funding for that initiative. Also, what we've included is to be able to do some renderings and gather a presentation for a future experience/visitor center. So we feel it's important that, when the day comes or where we're trying to explain to people that we have something on paper to be able to show people the concept. So we're looking to have a firm help us with that. We're also going to be, now that COVID's lifted, be doing some FAM tours. Our marketing manager has a lot of experience with that and a lot of connections, so that'll be one of her skill sets we'll be utilizing. The other thing that I'm pretty excited about is, and especially our hoteliers will be interested, is we're going to subscribe to a vacation rental monthly report. So I want to show you the samples of what they look like. So this is basically a star report for vacation rentals. So bear with us here. All right, so if you see down here, they're able to show us, and they've mirrored the STAR report pretty close, and they work with Smith Travel. So the Smith Travel, for those of you that aren't in the hotel industry, it's basically our Bible. It tells us our occupancy, average daily rate, RevPAR, and this is what hotels live and breathe on. So, and it also helps us to identify, when our slow times are, but having this report for vacation rentals. So they get all the data, they scrape data from listings on Airbnb and VRBO. So this will show us the trend. This is a sample from a different community, but also it has day of week. It also will tell us trend. So she pulled up, she meaning the representative, the vendor is AirDNA. She showed me in August, for our county, already $2 million in vacation rentals has been booked for the month of August. So this will allow, and it's 6 months. So having this data allows us to see where the holes are, in what product, so that we're able to market and work with those groups. So this is a trend report sample. This is the future pacing, they call it. So that's that projecting a week ahead, or months ahead, actually. The other cool report that we get is called a origin report. So this shows us where people are coming from. So the city and the state, so we'll be able to filter to see what are the top destinations that they're coming from. But then also when, since they get the data from Airbnb and VRBO, and people leave those comments and reviews, they also pull that. So that's that description. So we'll be able to search. So if we want to know what are people saying about, the Corvette Club, we can type in Corvette Club, Flagler Beach, anything like that, we're able to read, and it's also just more data that'll help us make better decisions and know what people are saying about us and what they think about us. So we're pretty excited about that. That's a game changer for our office, because in the past, we've only had the data from our hotels and the resort, and we know that the vacation rental product is a very important piece of what we have here. And when I spoke to the representative, she already had some data for me, and she said that for every dollar that is spent on lodging, 30 cents comes from a vacation rental. So that speaks pretty heavily to how important that they are to our community. So we're excited about this. This is another new research we're going to add for fiscal year.
Amy, quick question. So just so I'm clear, the hotels are not included in these numbers?
No.
Just
No.
Airbnbs?
Airbnb and VRBO is where they get the data. So before, it's always a guessing game, because like Shelley said, she can't tell me how much you paid, how much, this certain vacation rental paid. So this is accomplishing that, and I still don't know anything that they're not supposed to tell me, but also over here, it even breaks it down into the bedrooms, 1 bedrooms. And Commissioner Bryan, to what you were asking, if you look here on the screen where it says submarkets, I'm able to put in zip codes, and I'll have that for vacation rentals. So, and again, it's without breaking any laws.
Perfect, just the way we like it.
Yeah, we like that.
Don't like to break laws.
Especially 2 laws at once.
So this is pretty exciting, and this will be included once we get the subscription up and running. We'll be able to provide this in our reports.
So the 1,200 accounts that we have right now that Shelley had mentioned, we're going to get all that data from everything that.
Yeah, we won't be able to connect who is who. Like she said, she has, like if someone has 3 properties, it's 1 account. So, but here, you're able to see even the bedroom breakdown. So you're able to see, where the demand is, what people are booking, who to target.
And then you can also give the city's feedback too. So if we get that 32136 area code saying that we need more 3-bedroom rentals or whatever, then they can possibly open up certain licenses for certain.
That's right. It helps us tell our story, and anytime we need to lobby for something or not lobby for something, we'll actually have data instead of our instincts. So that's the highlights for Fund 110. So I'll take any more questions.
And what's the total amount in 110, just in 110? I remember you did it already, but I'm just trying to remember.
Yes, so if we do 2.7 in revenue, this fund will get 1.6.
Right, okay. And that kind of keeps things going, too.
Yes.
All right, any additional comments on the board? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve item 8B.
So
Motion to
moved.
approve?
Oh, seconded, sorry.
Okay, sorry, got to go through it. So we have a motion and a second on item 8B, which is the 110 fund for 21-22. Any additional public comment concerning that? If not, back to the board for approval of the motion to approve the fiscal year 21-22 budget for the 110 fund for tourism. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, none opposed, therefore carries unanimously. We'll go on to item 8C, which is the 111 fund. Over, back to you, Amy.
Thank you. This is the Beach Improvement Fund. So as you mentioned, Commissioner Sullivan, we were able to pay off the loan early, which saved the county a lot of money, so we're excited about that. So what this does now is reset this fund back to pre-Matthew, back in the old days. So this also has an application and approval process. So after, we've been told that the fund is now reset, we're going to go back and look at the application of what they've used in the past and bring forward to you any consideration of any changes that we feel may need to be made for your consideration and possible change the application. But this fund, the eligible applicants are basically the county and the city of Flagler Beach because they're the ones who manage beaches. So we're going to look at that, and if we see anything that needs adjusting, we're going to bring that forward to you or give you the update at the next meeting. But this fund continues to work for beach improvements, and that can look a million different ways, maybe not a million, a handful of ways. In the past, I'm sorry, the town of Beverly Beach also can apply, excuse me, because we have funded them before for walkovers. So, and I'll bring that all forward to you in October of what that fund looks like now that it's reset and the loan's paid off.
Okay, any additional comments from the board on this particular fund? So I'll ask for a motion on 8C.
Motion to approve.
I got it. Seconded.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any public comment concerning essentially the beach fund? I seeing none, bring it back to the board for a vote on 8C, which is the Fund 111 fiscal year 21-22 budget. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. And we'll go on. I have one comment about this, and that is in the press in this place of Flagler County and Palm Coast, we get a lot of blasts. Well, who's working business development and who's trying to get people to come here? Well, the tourism office does work that for us, and it works it in a number of ways, but a lot of it is to making it clear to visitors who come in that we're a good place to be, just like the hotels. So sometimes people say, oh, we're not doing anything. We're doing a lot all the time, and this is a good example of where that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, go on to item 9, Tourism Development Office update.
Well, I'm sure you're sick of hearing from me, so we have Candy who's going to give you some updates of what some of the projects she's been working on, and then I'll pass it over to Deborah to share hers, and then we'll end with mine. So we'll go ahead and give it to Candy.
Very good.
Good morning.
Morning.
Now some fun stuff, a little more entertaining than numbers. All right, so I have 2 new handcrafted and homegrown videos to share with you. This will bring the series to a total of 12 videos, and this also wraps up the series. So this is all that we'll be doing for handcrafted and homegrown. Of course, there will be more series and more opportunities to come in the future for other small businesses or attractions. And then for those of you who are not familiar with the series or are new to the board, we created this series to highlight our small businesses. It's pretty heavy in Flagler Beach because it was started right after the A1A construction. So they really needed that boost in business during that time. But we do have some Palm Coast restaurants as well. So this one is A1A Burrito Works, which I think you'll find pretty entertaining. Nick is quite a character, so you'll enjoy this one.
How do you take a burrito and a tostada and the elements of a taco and put it to one, right? Because crunchy, savory, chewy, that's what people like crave. We sold enough UFOs to go from the Earth to the moon like 20 times. You know, you can go most places in the Southeast and say, have you ever had a UFO? And chances are they've had a UFO at Burrito Works. So Burrito Works started in 2007. I was living in Flagler Beach. There was no burrito places. One day I was craving a burrito. I was like, this is ridiculous. When I started this company, the focus really was, all right, let's make amazing food. Let's try to have the most consistent product, but without using, the chemicals, the MSGs. All of our spice mixes are made in-house. Everything's made fresh here every morning. I think they can really taste the difference. And it was really important that I had people that I love come into my restaurants and get quality food without all the garbage. Okay, guacamole. Because the base of the best guacamole is pico, in our opinion. So that you start with fresh Hass avocados, beautifully like lime green. You make a batch of pico de gallo, which is basically onions, cilantro, tomato, jalapeno, lime, and a little bit of salt. And you're gonna fold that in to Hass avocados. But the basics of this entire business started with the salsa. And it goes into every single ingredient down the line. So great guac starts with great pico, great chicken starts with great pico. Quintessential thing that this restaurant really does. Make awesome food, have great staff, and put it in a cool environment where people enjoy their ambiance. And so for me to be able to live at the beach, surf, and make a living was like the dream come true, right? It doesn't matter what your socioeconomic background is or what your status is not, or where you're from. It's just, you go to the beach, you enjoy yourself, you go and eat a Burrito Works, and makes your day. Listen, if you want to try something out of this world, get your butt down to A1A Burrito Works taco shops in either Palm Coast or Flagler Beach, because we want to blow your mind. We're Burrito Works. We're handcrafted and homegrown in Palm Coast and the Flagler beaches.
All right.
Great. Another great one.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about these is, and I was explaining this to one of our vendors recently who does our blog posts, and I had just gone on vacation last week, and I thought when I was going to a restaurant that I'd never been to before, it's more about the whole experience when you visit a new place. It's not just about sitting down and is the food good in front of you, but was it worth taking your whole family out to this place, and did you have a well-rounded experience? Are the people there friendly? Are the views great? What's the atmosphere like? And I think this gives an inside look into all of that and lets people make a decision on whether they want to take a chance on a place or not. And then the final one is Yes Coffee, which is a fairly new coffee shop in Flagler Beach, and it's a husband and wife team, and they're just really, really great people. So I was happy to include them in this.
Our motto is simple, approachable, and beautiful. We're just really passionate about coffee and how it tastes, and then also how it looks. We are a single origin espresso bar, so that means that our beans are from one origin, one family, one farm, one country. We really like to focus on that, and we like to support that because coffee, we want it to be ethical. We want to really think about the process of coffee and all that it goes through and all the hands that touch it before it gets to us. And then the customer who drinks it, you're the last person to enjoy all the love that's been poured into it.
Originally, I didn't even like coffee, but I liked Rachel. So to impress her, I learned all that I could about coffee. So getting a cup of coffee at Yes is not just a normal cup of coffee. You're coming for an experience. I love explaining the process to people and just educating them, because a more knowledgeable and understanding customer, the more they're going to appreciate their drink too.
So we do each drink in front of the person. The espresso's poured in the latte right in front of you, and you see our latte art coming together.
So we're a little slower. We're
And
okay.
we're okay with that.
Yeah, we're okay with that. We are at the beach, so we really do want to kind of slow things down and just make the whole experience enjoyable. Probably our most popular drink is the Snow Cap. That is actually a drink that my wife and I created. It did not exist before Yes Coffee.
So it's a short iced vanilla latte with a vanilla cold foam on top. And this is kind of an idea of an iced cappuccino, but we draw mountains on every cup because it looks like snow on top of mountain peaks. We've been traveling around the United States and we actually love your guys' coffee. You are top 5, or you are the best, or we couldn't wait to come back. Keep it simple. We do one sweet option and one salty option to have with your coffee. We also do teas and lemonades. Well, we love Flagler Beach, and the reason we love it is we can skateboard to work. We can go surfing. We love this area. We're really entrenched in the heartbeat of Flagler, and that makes us run our business from a very authentic place.
We are Yes Coffee
Handcrafted and homegrown
in Flagler Beach.
Yes. So this is a series that I personally am really proud of and have spent a lot of time on. I think it has really strengthened our relationship with partners. The company, the video production company that we use, Cycle Here Media, they have been doing video for us for a long time now. They understand our destination. They frequent these businesses. They have family that lives here. They live in St. Augustine, so they really do a good job of telling our story. All right, next up is a virtual road trip that I worked on recently, and it is not hosted directly on our site. It's using the county's GIS department's story map tool. And so it just gives a little more flexibility in the types of widgets that I can put in here with mapping and those types of tools. So this is featuring 15 things to do along A1A's scenic and historic coastal byway. So up here you can jump to any part. I find that this really helps with people staying on page longer. If they're not like scrolling, they don't get tired of it. They can skip ahead and go to what they're really interested in. So it just talks about the All-American Road designation, which is a huge deal for us. And then underneath it has the start of the virtual road trip. And I just kind of went in order along A1A, starting in Marineland. And each of these stops has like multiple photos, or you can do videos. And I can link it to YouTube videos. So it's not just our videos, but like this one was done by Visit Florida for Ripple Effect Eco Tours.
Ripple Effect Eco Tours, isn't it?
So it really gives a multitude of ways to research these places and plan your trip out. So Ripple Effect, swimming with dolphins at Marineland, River to Sea Preserve, Washington Oaks, again, lots of pictures and videos. Included the art, so Balaker, and then we also pointed out Art LeMay and Best Studio. Bing's Landing, riding bikes at Malacompra. This was an oldie but goodie, so happy to bring that one back out for people to see. Horseback riding, which is
Jolly, Poncho,
by far one of our most popular excursions here. Christina gets calls daily about it, so people love horseback riding on the beach. Taking your dog to the beach at Varn Park, creating your own pottery, getting slushed at the Flagler Beach Winery.
We are a great oceanfront wine.
Hello. And then for Flagler Beach, I included it all in one because there is so much to do there. And And so I did this video that kind of gives a overall description or summary of the area, and then have things linked in here like restaurants and shops. And the Pirate House, I know, is like a little quirky, but it's a thing, and people like it. So that was included. And then Gamble Rogers. And so after that, we have just a video of the views along A1A. So yes, the stops are great, but it's also awesome just to enjoy the ride. The scenic audio tour done by Friends of A1A, where you can stay along A1A, and each of these have links so that you can go to our website under their listing. And then I thought this was a cool thing to round it out with is apparel and gifts, because we do have so many souvenirs that are specific to A1A at our local gift shops. So shout out to them, even dog A1A gear, and just encouraging people to share their views. And so this is shared on our blog, our e-newsletter. Daniel Anderson shared it in one of her articles. The A1A group has been sharing, so it's getting a lot of traction. And then, what do we have? Okay, and the Gold Telly Award. So I wanted to also share that one of our videos did win a Gold Telly Award, which is a huge deal. There were only 2 gold winners in the category. Cycle Here Media did submit the award on our behalf, and it's the Resilient Community video. So if you'll remember, I know Commissioner Sullivan probably remembers because he made his appearance in the sombrero. But just talking about how amazing our community is, and the resiliency after hurricanes and road construction. And to me, it's pretty satisfying that a video that talks so about how great our community is the one that won it. So that was exciting. And then on the horizon, we have 2 new videos in the works. One is the A1A stops, so a handful of the top stops along A1A to kind of coincide with the road trip, and outdoor art, so featuring the Turtle Trail and the Flagler Beach murals. And then lastly, we have I don't know if I have it pulled up yet. There we go. So we already had a Turtle Trail rack card that featured the Turtle Trail sculptures, but we've kind of taken it up a notch, and we've worked with Lily on the graphic design with the county, and so now it has a map. So people can take this and follow along, and it has all of the addresses and photos of what they can expect when they get there, and then some verbiage here about our outdoor art in the county. So this will be finished soon. We're in the final edits, and so that will be coming up soon.
Great. Awesome. Super. All right, Amy, go ahead.
All right, and so now I'll kick it over to Deborah, and she's going to give you some important updates as well.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? That's as close as you go. I'm just going to wait for Candy to pull up my slides. Flagler County Cultural Council. No one's ever heard of it. It's very new. We, as a group collectively, and I'll get into more details as I go on, came up with this, and it's something we're moving forward with. Kind of promoting the arts, humanities, and heritage for all is the tagline that we've picked up. So how did this come to be? For those that are new to the board and might not remember, back in 2019, TDO staff brought in a consultant to guide us through a strategic plan process. We brought together well over 100 stakeholders within the community, to include our county commission, the city boards. We had some focus groups specific to history and arts. We brought in our lodgers and some restaurateurs. We did online surveys, as well as, again, those focus groups. So all of that information was collected together, and the strategic plan was developed. And our strategic plan had 3 different strategies. Pillars of strategy, and one of them would be destination development. And under destination development, one of the tactics was to strengthen the county's arts and culture offerings. This was a collective decision by all of those who had gone through the interviewing process. And you can see that there are 3 tactics there, and I highlighted number 3 because that's really what I'm going to speak specifically to here today, which is explore the creation of an arts, history, and cultural council. So that is now the Flagler County Cultural Council. So what is a local arts agency? Americans for the Arts defines local arts agency as a local government agency or community organization recognized by the local government that supports cultural organizations, provides services to arts organizations, and/or presents programming to the public. Local arts agencies endeavor to make the arts, culture, and history part of the daily fabric of community living. So why is this important to our community? Local arts agencies often occupy a strategic funding position for local organizations by leveraging grants from state and national funding programs not otherwise available to the community. Simply put, a local arts agency is a nonprofit or government entity that is created to meet the cultural needs of a community and to foster an environment in which humanities organizations can flourish. So the reason that I've highlighted hold on, let me, thank you, under why it's important. So in investigating, there's over 5,000 local arts agencies across the nation. All of them are structured a little bit differently. They're all looking for different support in different ways within their communities. Larger communities have multiple local arts agencies for different disciplines. So what I can assimilate it to is we have a lot of organizations right here in Flagler County that want to be visitor centers and act as visitor centers, to welcome people to the community, and we're thankful to have those people here. But we only officially recognize the Flagler Beach Historical Museum as our official visitor center. Same thing, TDC is only recognized by Visit Florida as the official organization for Flagler County Tourism Development. We're the official DMO. So being able to put together a local arts agency to be officially recognized through resolution by the county commission will also give them that leverage to tap into funds that might not otherwise be available to the local community. And a great example of that is a missed opportunity, and it's a very large example, where the CARES Act appropriated over $75 million to the National Endowment for the Arts, which was then, of course, brought down to communities. We did not have an organization that could represent the community to go and tap into those funds. More recently, the American Rescue Plan made a $135 million appropriation to the National Endowment for the Arts. And here again, because we don't have an officially designated local arts agency, Flagler County was not able to access those funds. We do not want to compete with our local organizations. We want to enhance our local organizations through this local arts agency. So to date, our accomplishments, we've had 4 meetings in the last 2 months. There was a consensus from the community to continue with the formation of a council. So we asked everybody to a meeting in our offices. We were able to identify the key stakeholders so that we could move the process forward. During this time, we have identified 40 Flagler County organizations that include the arts, culture, dance, events, film, history, and performing arts. We have attracted more than 50 interested individuals. I will say that this is the third time we're trying to bring forth a cultural council in the county, so right now we are facing some skepticism. So we are hoping to break through that barrier very, very soon and, bring even more organizations and more interested individuals, onto this council. We were able to gain support from the City of Palm Coast and the City of Flagler Beach, and we are currently working and having conversation with the City of Bunnell to have them come on board and participate as well. We have, as you saw on the first slide, confirmed the council's name. We have drafted the vision statement, the mission statement, the purpose, and the membership structure. And most importantly, we've chosen our initial incorporating directors, whose names are all listed there, and who they're associated with, to kind of take the lead and put all of this together. So we have created a phased approach for the council. And you can see in phase 1, we've check marked, we've had the organization name, the statements that were required. We do need to work on the bylaws. And then under articles of incorporation, I've just listed out all of the things that we are working towards. Some of them are accomplished. Most important for phase 1 is once we have all of these draft documents accumulated and we have our articles of incorporation ready to go, we will run everything through the county legal department to make sure that, it's buttoned up tight. And then we're going to have a initial member meeting where we invite everybody back to the table, make a presentation to them, make sure that everyone is in agreement with the focus of the direction we're going in, and get their approval. And then we will go ahead and officially file that article of incorporation, and then do all of the other business, register with SunBiz, IRS business, open a bank account, and most importantly is to install a board, an elected board that will officially take over and now head this organization. And then you can see in phase 2 some of the other objectives that we have. And then in phase 3, that's when this is up and running. I have target completion dates at the bottom. So by this time next year, we hope to be applying for grants, from some of these larger organizations at the state and national level, possibly creating our own, or their own grant program, and things like that. And then there's those other 2 tactics from the strategic plan that they will be working on as well. So staff has been able to support this organization by facilitating the meetings, providing, maintaining the documents, contact list, agendas, meeting notes. I'm working closely with those interim board members to accomplish these goals. We provide the meeting space. You can see a picture that was from our first meeting of all the folks that were interested. I handle all communication questions. I either try and answer them or I work with that interim board, to get the answers. I maintain integrity at the meetings for maximum productivity. We have a very diverse group of people, and so we have to stay on track with what the mission is, so I work hard at doing that. I've been asked to do some research regarding bylaws, memberships, resolutions, and agreements, which I've provided, to the board, and Amy when she's asked. And then just maintaining relationships with other relevant organizations like the Florida Department of Arts and Culture. I'm on a monthly call with them now. Florida Cultural Alliance is my call. I have a relationship with St. John's Cultural Council Administrator and our local governments and stakeholders I'm staying in touch with as well. So that is all that we have and where we are at with the local arts agency. I can answer any questions or comments that you may have.
And before we go there, just to wrap it up, so in summary, our role is to be the facilitator in this. When I know Deborah was saying we, but it's not we as in our office. We're not setting up a bank account or registering our names. We are helping those folks that are on that temporary board to accomplish all of that. So we are continuing to be Switzerland for everybody, and and make sure all the pieces are moving forward in the best way, keeping them organized and on track. Because the next big milestone is to bring the resolution in front of the Board of County Commission for this 501c3. They'll be designated. The group will be the one to come before the board. They have our support, obviously, to get that designation. Once they've been in business, so to speak, for 1 year, they then can apply for that state funding that is not available to any organization in the state besides the official designation. So we can have multiple LAAs that have the support of the board, but the one that is recognized would be this one because it includes everybody. And again, like Deborah said, there's no competing of funds. So the organizations, they still can apply for their own funding the way that they always have. This just opens up that funding and that they never had before.
Yeah, the only thing I heard was that last comment you made. It's important for people to understand that they're not trying to take over anything here. We're trying to make things better.
And that's why we're the facilitator, because we want all to succeed. And it behooves us because we want to strengthen the arts, cultural, historical asset that we have to make it as strong and powerful as possible so that we're able to make our destination be a true stop for those folks. So any questions?
Go ahead.
Mine is brief. I know you're still working on the membership, and I assume that will be determining the criteria for individuals to participate or to be members of the Cultural Council itself. Is that correct?
Yes, when we have that first general meeting, which we're hoping will be in August or September, we will have the outline for how that membership structure is going to look. And again, everything is going to be a draft document. You know, we're hoping that, you know, we knock it out of the ballpark and we're on point with everything, but it is all just draft. So we are absolutely open to any additional suggestions that might come forth at that meeting prior to filing for that incorporation.
Okay, thank you.
Questions? Any other questions?
Continuing down this road that we did agree was something that we were missing here in Flagler County as a whole. So thank you so much for pulling all of that together.
All right, Deborah, thank you very much. We're still on the office updates, so I pass to you, Amy, to wrap that part up.
More updates. Deborah still has 2 more items.
I'm up again.
I'm sorry.
So National Travel and Tourism Week, I think Amy kind of spoke in April that was coming up in May, and I personally love it because I just love being out in the community and meeting all the community members. And so with everything being digital now, it's sometimes a challenge to make that one-on-one contact. So this was a great week for me. I had a great time in the office. We did kick the week off with the reading of a proclamation at the May 3rd BOCC meeting, proclaiming May 2nd through the 8th as National Travel and Tourism Week in Flagler County. So to get that started, we had reached out to all of our partners and said, send us pictures of your staff. We want to put together a nice video vignette and just kind of like a thank you to them for all of their hard work. So Candy scripted and produced the video called The Power of Travel, and we promoted that on social media. And of course, the focus again was to thank the hardworking people in the travel and hospitality industry and to show appreciation for their hard work and for being there continually to serve their community and our visitors, especially during the most difficult 18 months of all of our lives so far. I hope it's the only difficult time we've had in our lifetimes, these 18 months. It was really nice to be able to feature some of these faces in the tourism community. So Candy's going to go ahead and play that video for you. It was a great piece.
The power of travel is priceless. It has the power to excite the kid in us all, inspire a deeper love of nature, reunite us with our loved ones, reignite our sense of adventure, and recharge our minds and bodies. The key to these powerful experiences are the hardworking people in the travel and hospitality industry, and we want to say thank you. Thank you for being a welcoming face. Thank you for being so resilient. Thank you for giving our visitors a lifetime of memories. Thank you for fueling the power of travel.
And once again, Candy was able to use a lot of our existing video that we already had on file. So the cost to produce this was in fact staff time. So she's does such a great job of always reusing everything. So we were able to send out a press release announcing National Travel and Tourism Week. We got the assistance of the city of Flagler Beach. And they provided 2 lighted message boards, one at the foot of the State Road 100 bridge and one at the south entrance on A1A, and it was flashing over the whole week. Thank you to our amazing hospitality workers, and I know we got a lot of positive feedback and happy smiles from those workers in the industry. We had a large poster on display. If you came into the government service building, it was on display here all week long. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Vern Shank at Flagler Beach's radio station, Surf 97.3, ran promotional conversation all week long, celebrating and urging listeners to show the local travel and hospitality workers some love during National Travel and Tourism Week, and played some good vacation beach music, as always, on 97.3. And the best part of the week, my fun part of the week, was that tourism team mobilized to deliver goodie baskets filled with snacks and our appreciation to all of our lodging partners, and share with their staff as well as restaurant staff, attraction, all of our industry partners, travel bags filled with candies, thank you cards, and a small gift inside. And you see on your screen there a little montage of some of the people receiving their gifts as we were out. And by far, that was my favorite part of the week, is just making people smile and thanking them for their great service in our community. So all in all, I think we had an incredibly successful week, and I look forward to doing it again next year. Any comments before I move on to my last?
Thank you for the basket.
You're welcome. I hope your staff enjoyed it. So the last thing that I want to share with you that I've been working on has been a true learning experience, one that I've really embraced and enjoyed. Another pillar of that strategic plan that came out was under our organizational excellence to develop a state-of-the-art visitor destination center to increase awareness and in-market experience. So Amy's touched on it a little bit in her presentation, and we're moving forward with plans for that. And so the biggest plan we need is funding. So we're always having a conversation about funding and how that can look. So we, through conversation with Daniel Anderson from the Friends of A1A, came to find out that for the first time in 9 years, there would be funding in the transportation infrastructure bill that could affect byway grant programs, and that we would be able to tap into those funds in partnership with the Friends of A1A to possibly get a grant with a possible 80-20 match to assist us with the development and building of a visitor experience center in the next year or 2 or 3. So it came to our attention that this funding that was in the House bill but government's complicated. So first, this funding goes to the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. That committee is thinking about a Surface Transportation Reauthorization Act of 2021, which is the rescue money that the government approved in March of this year. That money, part of it is going towards the Investment in America Act, and from Invest in America Act, then the money goes down further to a lot of other smaller programs, and one of those really small programs that's in all of that stuff going upward is the National Scenic and Byways Program. So we found out that this was in the Senate, and I and Amy worked very hard at creating letters and asking senators to support and add funding to the surface transportation bill that will provide provisions for the National Scenic Byway Program. We had a very specific ask. We reached out to the chairman of the Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works, the ranking member of that committee. We reached out to our Florida senatorial delegates, and we also worked with the president of Scenic America for his support, Mr. Mark Falzone, and we ran it through county administration as well. And Mr. Cameron recommended at that time that we reach out to Joshua Gabaton, who's the county lobbyist. So we had some dialogue with him, and he assisted us with getting those letters that we wrote into the proper hands so that they would get to our legislators as quickly as possible before it went to the floor. Unfortunately, the Senate did not include any funding at that time. So now this information goes over to the House. They have the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, and they're talking about the Highway Trust Fund, which is this great big huge umbrella bill, and it has money from Invest in America, and from there, they're gonna allocate funding to the National Scenic Byways Program, where there's already that $16 million. There was already $16 million allocated, but then Representative Cicilline put forth an amendment where he was asking to increase the funding to $64 million over 4 years. So that and again, we endeavored on a letter writing campaign. Please support the Cicilline, our basic ask was to please support the Cicilline amendment to increase byway funding to $65 million per year and start the funding cycle in fiscal year 22. Because the funding cycle was scheduled to start fiscal year 23. So we were asking for make it sooner. We reached out to our local congressman, Mr. Waltz. We contacted the committee chair of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, again, the ranking member, and then we wrote letters to all of the Florida delegates in the House asking for their support. Again, reached out to county administration, Friends of A1A, Marge Ruyackers, Daniel Anderson, Commissioner Hansen is on the board out there. He also wrote letters of support. We had Commissioner O'Brien writing letters of support. So I've been writing a lot of letters to send up to Washington. And again, working with Mr. Gabaton and Mr. Falzone to help facilitate getting those letters into the right hands. And myself and Amy and all of the letter writers from across the nation. They've had over 1,500 different partners nationwide lobbying Washington legislators, and I guess they heard us because the House went ahead and they accepted that amendment, and they provided $64 million over 4 years. The amendment was accepted. So now we're back at the Senate again. And in the Senate, as prior, still does not contain any byways funding. So Senator Padilla from California put forth an amendment asking for $325 million over 5 years to begin funding in fiscal year 2022. So as of today, and everything changes quickly up there, as of today, this is scheduled to be heard sometime in the next week or two. We are working and seeking support from Senator Scott or Senator Rubio to co-sponsor. Senator Padilla is a Democrat, so they are looking for a Republican to co-sponsor that because then it becomes a bipartisan amendment, and apparently that makes it a much more powerful amendment for the Senate to consider. So I'm working closely with Danielle Anderson. She has reached out to Commissioner Hanson, and we are trying very hard to get Senator Scott and or Rubio here into the community for a meeting. We will invite all of our byway partners from St. John's and Volusia County as well, if that meeting should happen, to get his support to co-sponsor this bill. So if this funding goes through and this money is available in the byways, we have every intention of working with the Friends of A1A on that grant application to help get that funding to move forth with our visitor center.
Yeah, there's some other byways in Flagler County too, historical byways.
Well, we would, if you can help, identify those, if I've missed them, then we would love to have those folks at the table as well, if we were able to have the senator come here. So I appreciate your help.
Any other?
No, I think that one wraps it up. As you can see, Deborah's been very busy. And again, those are items that are in our strategic plan, starting to partner with organizations in a way and a level that we never have before, is what we're trying to, is what one of the goals as well. And Deborah's done a great job also out of the strategic plan was realigning job roles and responsibility, which created Deborah's position of destination development and community engagement. And she's done a great job, and I've taken a lesson that I've learned from our former county administrator, Mr. Cameron, where he says to us, I'm going to push you to the point where you look terrified. He managed to do that many times. So I've passed that on to my staff, and this is when I told Deborah, you're going to present everything you've been working on so hard to TDC. And she looked terrified, but she did a great job, and she continues to improve herself and her skill sets. She took the initiative on her own through our international organization, they're called Destinations International, where she got a certificate for fundamentals of destination marketing and management and fundamental in sales. So she did that all on her own. It was a free that they provide to destination organizations. So I just wanted to let the board know about that. The next thing that I wanted to share with you was at the request of one of our county commissioners, Commissioner Dance. He wanted to make you guys aware, and I know probably this is for the lodgers. So the Florida Green Lodging initiative that you can become a member of for free. It's done mainly online. He was at a conference this week, and they were looking for a place to hold future conferences, and they have to be on the lodging property has to be on the green lodging list, and we only have one that was on the list this year, and they don't have any meeting space, so that narrows it down to you guys. So I have the information, and I promised him that I would remind everyone that you can do this online. And it's free. They focus on 5 areas of operations for sustainability, and you earn points, and then you get the little palm tree designation. So if you want more information, I can share you the direct link, but that is something that he wanted to pass on and hopefully get some participants. And the last thing I wanted to end, because this is why we do what we do, and it's so nice that someone took their time out, but they private messaged our office through Instagram, and they left a review, and you can see here there's a picture of Washington Oaks, and it was just a promotion that Candy does on social media, like she does every day, but this person took the time out, and I just wanted to share it, where she says, my family is here visiting from New Mexico, and this is, again, an origin that we don't see hardly ever, and I have been following you guys since we booked our trip in March. I am so thankful for this page. We've booked activities, restaurants, and have loved our vacation. Great job, and thank you. And again, it's nice someone took the time out and just reminded us, hey, people are paying attention, and they do take our recommendations, and it's just nice that we got that, so I wanted to share that. And that concludes our meeting for today. Our next meeting will be the third Wednesday in October.
Right. We got, thank you, Amy, and all good, great reports. We do have one last community outreach section. If anybody, 30-time minute has been allocated. At the end of the meeting for public comment, each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to address the board on items not on the agenda. If we had anybody want to come forward on that, please come forward now. Seeing none come forward. We have one last item, item 11, which is kind of to poll the members of the board on any comments they would like to make at this point.
Don't have much. We're busy. People are moving here. People are coming here. People are staying here, and they seem to be happy. We're, stretched to the limit, but it's just the other side of COVID. So we're happy that we're making money and we're employed and we have a place for people to stay when they come here. We are continuing to just ask people to have patience with different places that they go, because we know the term is labor challenges for 2021. And so we'll hold on to that until it changes. But yeah, everything seems good.
We opened up a Lure, which is at Yacht Harbor Village. So that's open to the public. On there's like tapas, cocktails, things like that. That's at right by the bridge. On there, it's called Lure.
Lure, okay.
Yep, and we bought a food truck. So I get Crab to drive it for us around or something like that. But it'll mainly be an on-property prop that we'll use on there. Yeah. And that's it. That's it.
And Ryan?
So we just rolled out a new breakfast, kind of going back to pre-COVID, where we have a buffet option, and then we also have a cook-to-order option. So good and bad. Good because it's obviously gives our guests more of an option. Bad because I don't have anybody to make it, and I don't have anybody to serve it.
Oh.
So, kind of in the same boat as everybody else, but that's about it.
I would like to give a tip of my hat to the Palm Coast Little League for the event that they held over this weekend. I thought that was tremendous. We had a great turnout, and unfortunately, the weather held out, and I'm sure that put some heads in beds, and I'm looking forward to the possibility of additional softball tournaments that can come to the city if we handle some things correctly with the dirt infields and such. But overall, I thought that was a tremendous event, and I hope to see more of them in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Ken?
Yeah, briefly, we continue to work on Veterans Park in Flagler Beach, and hopefully everyone's been able to notice it a little bit, and that's been done all through volunteer work. We've had, excuse me, a total of about 4 weekends where individuals have come out and volunteered to do different things from pulling weeds to spreading lava rock, and we're actually working on a fund to replace the fountain. I'm also heading up a group, excuse me, of volunteers. We're working to replace or replenish the benches that are in the park. There are about 35 of them. They're very old. They're deteriorated. They look pretty bad. And one of the things I started out on, and that's going to be, in order to support it and pay for it, is to have a program where you can actually be able to sponsor a veteran for a bench. So we're working on that program. I went over yesterday to Palatka to look for some cypress wood. So I'm doing a little research to find the best product to use, from recycled plastic to cypress wood itself. And as you know, wood is quite expensive right now, but it's even hard to attain, to get it. So that's one of the projects we're looking forward to. Is pretty excited about that. And we also have the new city manager working on repairing the sidewalks and things like that are in the park as well. A lot of the things that just didn't get done over the years had to do with the downturn in the economy back, several years ago, and Flagler Beach had to actually downsize a lot with the grounds crew and things of that nature. So what we've done is actually had volunteers come forward in order to start picking up the slack in order to get the city looking good and curb appeal again. The new city manager is in the process of presenting the budget today and next week, where we're actually going to try to replace the staff that will start to keep up with maintaining the infrastructure within the beach itself. So we're pretty excited about getting those things back on track. First Fridays, we're working on getting those started again within the next month or so. We'll keep you up to date as we're progressing with that. We have a new sponsor who will be working our local radio station to actually be working on first Friday to get those things moving. And I directed someone to Amy a few weeks ago, and that was Lisa Fitzgerald from the Coastal Conservation Association. And that's an organization, it's a nonprofit, and they put on fishing tournaments all over Florida. And when I first talked to her, she was excited about doing something here in Flagler Beach and Flagler County because she was actually looking at possibly doing it in St. Johns County. And I said, no, I used to be up there. Let's bring it down to Flagler County. So there's a lot of things that has to be done and worked out in order to do that. So she's going to be in contact with Amy over in the future, and hopefully we can get a nice fishing tournament going here.
Yes, we did connect, and she's finishing up at a conference this week, but because we have time, we'll be coming before the board in October.
Right. It's a very good organization. They do a lot. I got connected with them with a number of things. So I'm obviously a fisherman, and I like conservation and catch and release, and that's how I got involved with talking to her about different things and the whole idea about fishing tournaments. And this is not just the small tournaments that she's talking about. We're talking about a lot of folks and a lot of heads to beds that could potentially come here. So just something we'll continue to work on. That's all I have.
John?
Business business is good. Very busy. Very short-staffed. A lot of the business owners I'm talking to on the beach from the Flagler Beach Business Bureau, the owners are working in their business mostly every day. It's been very hard for a lot of us businesses to go to the city meetings, and our last quarterly business bureau, we actually invite the county city commissioners to start coming to us, and it was a decent turnout yesterday, and a couple of the conversations that we're having. The biggest problem that us businesses have, the small businesses, is offering benefits to attract high-level employees. You know, because a lot of the times when we're about to close a manager and we're very excited, it's like, all right, do you offer benefits? We're like, well, no, not really. What can we do? So early in the year, the Flagler Beach Business Bureau got every kind of politician from state, federal level to hear a pitch, which was, listen, if you're an American and you're working, doesn't matter what business you're in, you should have affordable but also good quality benefits. And this has been a very long road, and this is like a three-year project that I anticipated. And we were fortunate enough to have a consultant come through in the interim to help the city of Flagler Beach, and also gave us a pitch about different opportunities, different ways you can go about pooling resources together. And it was a great conversation. It really got the wheels turning to continue our progress with being able to offer real, outstanding benefits to anyone that's working. Moving forward, Starry Nights is something that the Business Bureau and the TDC got together with to start last year. Actually, I think it turned out very well for even being COVID. It was something that we can keep something during the fourth quarter to help sustain our business, to keep that constant flow of traffic all the way through. I think the pier ended up looking phenomenal. A lot of the businesses really came through. And now, coming into third quarter, which we had a few meetings earlier on in the year to really get a game plan. We got DOT involved and see what can we do with about certain lights, and had a meeting with our city, new city manager just recently, and we're talking about, he's in the budget process right now, so it's a little bit difficult because we're just waiting on the last little piece with the Veterans Park area. That's the city's main, that's what they're responsible for the Starry Nights thing. See, what can we do? And I just really urge anyone and everyone, if you guys do have any time, you want to be a part of this, this is something that can really be wonderful for fourth quarter, sustaining our businesses and making the town look just wonderful and inviting. And all we're asking anyone to do is just decorate your house, decorate your business, and anything that's available in the city, just decorate. Make it look beautiful and clean and nice and inviting. The main attraction in St. Augustine is the top 5 in the whole world for Christmas. Literally, they bring in so many travelers during the slowest time of year, and we are just piggybacking off of that, and I think it's something that we can do, and it's beautiful, it's fun, it's loving. At Christmas, there's no better time to really unite people during that time. So I'm looking forward to anyone that's interested in helping. We're going to be setting a meeting here shortly to go over what the game plan is. And the number one problem that we have in Flagler Beach and a lot of Americans today is just communication. How can we communicate to the masses? And that's something that I think our business bureau is going to partner up with the city here soon to find, whether it's developing an app, a texting, a mobile service, just how can you get real feedback from the people that live with us, as opposed to hearsay or the same group of people that come to meetings. I mean, there's so many people that don't want to waste their time going to certain meetings, but there has to be a better way to communicate. And with all the different Zooms and everything that's available, that's an initiative that we just want to get real data and communicate clearly and truly hear what people want. And 4th of July is one of the things that we've been talking about this year, since we didn't have 4th of July fireworks. One of the city commissioners of Flagler Beach talked about adding or moving fireworks to the end of the year. So that's going to be a great conversation to be had come this Thursday at the next meeting. And I think that would be a nice icing on the cake for Starry Night specifically. Whether or not they choose to do fireworks for 4th of July, that should be a separate conversation. But I'm looking forward to everything moving in the right direction. Everyone's so busy, so I appreciate everyone's time here. What the TDC has been doing since I came aboard, I mean, you guys are truly phenomenal. I mean, everything that's coming through, I feel like we're so far ahead than a lot of different places. And I just want to continue seeing us move in the right direction. So thank you guys all for your time.
Alicia?
Well, Marineland's in the same boat as the rest of you. Things are going great. Could really use some employees. And yeah, it doesn't matter what your title is. You just do what needs to be done, no matter what it is. So cleaning bathrooms, feeding fish, dolphins, octopus, it doesn't matter. You just do it. So I'm looking forward to the workforce improving so that all of us can improve as well. I really want to give kudos to Amy, Candy, Deborah, Christina. You guys have just done a phenomenal job, especially since I've joined this board. I just have seen so much growth and teamwork and getting things done. So it's the Get Her Done team, and I appreciate that. So.
Thank you. Just one comment. I noticed this week we did the press release that the 100 walking bicycle bridge will start construction on actually July 26th, on Monday. And I look at that as a plus for tourism and bringing businesses in. It'll become kind of an emblem, you know, for Flagler County, and it'll tie into the pier A-frame with the way it's designed. So I'm looking forward to that. I did attend that meeting yesterday in Flagler Beach, and I think it's time probably this year and after COVID, kind of a restart on fireworks and things. They talked about yesterday having some meetings to get together. And I think that it's time with the population, you know, around 120,000 people, to do a coordinated 4th of July weekend between not only Flagler Beach, but the city, county, and maybe spread the wealth around a little bit. And let's see what comes out of that. And I think, Amy, we want to stay attuned to that, because I think there are some real good possibilities there to make it bigger and better, but less, maybe cut down on concentrating the traffic in one place, that kind of thing. So with that, I ask for everybody's had their chance. Ask to adjourn. All right, we're done. We're out. Thank you all for hanging in there.
Christina, did you get the motion
Oh.
for adjournment? Who did it?
It's all good stuff, you know, and
The fireworks was the least of our concern in a way.